I'm going to show you how to set up GetResponse autoresponder for email marketing, and stay tuned to the end because I'll also be adding in some very valuable tips for you as you go about building your list for your business. So right here, you see I am on the GetResponse homepage that you hit when you first log in. Now, if you have experience with the broadcast, with emailing out real-time emails to your folks, this is going to be a breeze. It's going to be easy. If you don't have experience doing that yet, it's still simple. You just may have to remember what things to click on. Now, usually you can click on tools and then travel to whatever you want to get to. I've noticed that GetResponse has started changing some things out. Just like all the other platforms, they change things around. And typically it's been under tools, and autoresponders is where you want to go. But in the case that tools isn't here, or maybe it's somewhere else, just look for tools possibly and then autoresponders. Then you want to make sure that you're working off of the list that you want to work off of, meaning you can have multiple lists on GetResponse. So different email lists for different things that you're promoting or talking about or giving away, whatever it may be. You have different lists. You might only have one if you don't use GetResponse that much, but ultimately you need a list to start. If you don't know how to create a list and you need to create a new list, make sure you check out the training below. But I think if I'm not mistaken, you might have a default list as soon as you get started, but I could be wrong. You probably have to create the first one. So anyway, you'll have the list. So in order for you to check out what you already have, you probably want to uncheck everything and maybe click on that one particular list so that you can see if you have anything. If you don't know how to set this up, you probably don't have anything. But just letting you know that before you get started. And in order for you to create an autoresponder, you can do it a couple ways. Now, if you already have autoresponders there that you really like for imitate the template or to imitate another email you have, you can click on here and you can duplicate this. I'm going to assume that you don't have anything to duplicate. So we're going to sit here and click create autoresponder. Then it's going to ask you, how do you want to create your autoresponder? I usually choose by myself from scratch. Now, this is basically just the area where you just start setting things up. Now, this top part, you have to understand that you will only see it. And I always try to advise people to read those little gray fine prints that GetResponse is getting better at adding inside of our system, so you can understand what it is that you're manipulating. So it says the name will appear on the list of your messages and only you will see this part. But I still like it to match, but I also like it to be organized. So I usually do my first one as email number 1, colon, and then I'll do the actual subject I'm going to use for the email. So your free gift here, and I'm just making up something just to speed up this video. So then I'll copy this. I'm just going to copy it right now. But this is one of the really important things you want to do when you're creating this list, when you're prepping things. Right under here is a linked list. So if you have multiple lists for whatever reason, you want to make sure you attach this autoresponder to the correct list. So many people miss this, and then they get to testing their system and it's not working, and they're trying to figure out why isn't it working? And it's because it's not linked to the correct list. So you'll have a drop down where you can choose whatever list you want to choose it on. So let's just choose this 3K one, since I know I was messing with that before. Now, in this case, I am choosing an existing list that already has an autoresponder attached to it. If you're setting up the first autoresponder, you won't have one attached to it. So yours will say on day 0, and day 0 is actually day 1. Don't ask me why they do it like that, but that's how they've been doing it for years. So you want to make sure that whatever gift you're giving away, whatever email you're sending, whatever promise you're making, that you keep this set as 0. And typically, if it's your first autoresponder and you want to send it out immediately, which most cases you do want to send out that gift or promise immediately, you typically don't really have to mess with this area. So I think 0 is set automatically. I'm not sure about this piece, but I usually pick same time as sign up, and it should be same time as sign up for your first one. Other options, you can just leave that alone, and you want to make sure you keep all of these checked. This means that whenever they sign up for something on their actual page, they will get it regardless of what day they signed up for it. You want to make sure you have your from email address. It should be a professional email address. If you do not have one or you don't know how to set up one correctly, because you have to set up the foundations to even send. If maybe you're getting some notifications from GetResponse saying it's not a proper email, check in the description of this video at the top. I will have a full package for you where you could actually sign up and get step-by-step training on how to set up your professional email. You cannot pass go if you don't have this part right. You cannot collect your $200. You can't do anything. You can't email anyone if you don't have your professional email set up correctly. And you want to make sure you do it right without all of the pains that a lot of people go through. Now, remember I copied that subject line. I want to put it here. This is the actual subject line that people will see. And it tells you here how many characters you have, best visibility, what to do. So you can read that. Then you have what I don't know what I call this, but, oh, I'm sorry. These are emojis. I call them emojis. You don't want to put like a grumpy face on your stuff, but here's a grumpy face. You can add whatever emojis that fit your personality, your gift, things like that. But this here, I need to figure out what they call this, but you can add a personal, I guess, feature. Now, a personal, I don't know what to call this thing here. You can click on the man with the stick in it. Now, I was trying to be professional and come up with a good name, but I usually call it the man with the stick poked in them, the pencil. And so what this allows you to do, it allows you to take GetResponse's data that they collected from your pages. So if people are signing up on your list on their own, you should have like minimum the name and email field, or at minimum just the email field. So you'll have the name, hopefully, and possibly, not possibly, but definitely the email field. And it will allow you to GetResponse to grab that information automatically. So if you send a email to a list of 100 people with names and emails, that GetResponse will go out there and collect their names automatically and add their names to the emails. It will add a personalization. Maybe I should call it a personalization field, so I won't be talking about the man with the stick in them. But the main one you'll be using is the first name. So you can put that anywhere. A lot of people try to copy and paste that code there. You never want to copy and paste that code. You're going to set yourself up to send out some really weird emails. So this is automatically going to put that name in there for you. Whatever the person's name is, it's going to put it in there. You can also do the email. So the email version is in there. So you can put an email in there if you want to personalize it and put their email in there for whatever reason. Then you have the preview text. Once you go to the preview text, this is like, I call it like my second chance field. This is the second chance for you to grab someone's attention, for you to say, for them to say, maybe I should open up this email. So you can put, you don't want to miss this, or expires. If it expires and you can say 3 hours or something, whatever. You just want to make sure it's true. That's your second option to catch attention. Then as you go down, this is where you design the message. If you're familiar with designing it, you'll be cool. But typically I like to do blank templates. It all depends on your niche, what you're working with. If you're really into a niche that people are used to, very design, HTML style emails, you can go out there and choose one. Now, I typically use blank templates in the blank here. So you can use that. And from there, you can design your message or whatever. This little logo thing, I need to see if it's a setting to get rid of it. But you can create a template without it later on, and that'll get rid of this message. But I highly suggest you get rid of this. So the way I do it is I click here and I uncheck show logo. And the reason why I do that is because it creates this really ugly message inside of GetResponse, and it just doesn't look good. So when people receive that email, they see this little weird message. So from there, you do layout. And I'm only going through this because I just want to give you the full experience in case you've never touched GetResponse broadcast. So do layout. The two main things I use here is the image text. Other people do use the buttons. So those are the two main things you're going to need. If you want to add button to your email, you can. Just understand whatever you choose to pull over here, you'll be able to manipulate those settings. So for the text, I'll just pull over a text so that I can give you the full experience of what it looks like. I'll just use this as text and I'll just paste this, but you want to write out your email. You want to make it look better than this, obviously. So you don't want too much space, but you do want some spacing. Once you write your email and you're good to go, you can preview it from here to make sure it's good. Make sure your links work. Then you can actually stop the preview. You can also send a test message to yourself. If all works out, I definitely suggest that you click on the link to make sure they work. But if all works out, you can save your message by clicking over here and you can click next. If you need more information about building your newsletters and GetResponse, definitely check out the playlist because I'll be doing different videos so you can check it out, because there's more to that page that I just left to building that email. You can edit your text, add your links and things like that. And then so once you get here, if everything looks good, what you want to do is save and publish. If you just save it, you're not going to publish it. It's not going to work. And before I leave this page, say you do your second one. So you want an email to go out on day 2. You make sure this reads 1 because that'll be day 2. You make sure, I usually do same time as sign up on the first one, but the other one you can do exactly at. So you can do a time. So I like maybe 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, which is 10 a.m. my time. So whatever, that's what I like to do. I like to send it out 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. So for the ones number 2 going forward, that's what you can do. And ultimately, you're good to save and publish. If you have existing people on your list, it's going to ask you, do you want to send that message? So just think about what type of message you're sending. Are these people going to be expecting this message? Does it make sense for you to send it to them? If you're talking about something that their time has passed, like maybe after 3 days of signing up on your list or purchasing a product, they had 3 days in order to get something else. And maybe that list is on, let's say you have people on the list on day 5. It doesn't make sense for them to get that message. So you want to make sure that message makes sense. This makes no sense for my list. So I'm just going to say, no, don't send this message. But if it makes sense, you can send it. Now it's established into your system. I think I put day 4 on here. And then for you to go see it, you can go to your list. We put it on the 3K formula list. Let me apply it. And I put email number 1 on day 4. So I'm just going to delete this because I don't want this to stay here. But ultimately, that's how you do the autoresponder message. You can repeat the process simply by going here, duplicating it. And I like duplicating because this list is already there. But if you create it from scratch, you have to remember to do that. Hopefully you got a ton of value. And thanks for watching this video. If you need help with your email marketing, with setting up your email marketing the right way, and maybe even growing your list online using things like social media and YouTube, definitely click on a link at the top of the description of this video. That's where I'll basically connect you with basically the tools, the coaching, the training that you need for a very extremely affordable price. And I'll see you on the top. Like, comment, and subscribe. Peace.